Here's a question for you. These things are all the rage right now. Should you use AI as in artificial intelligence writing tools? So if you go and you look in places that sell programs, what you'll find is there's dozens of these tools out there. It's tons and tons of different programs. And very frankly, what's happened is that artificial intelligence has become so much better recently. There are, I could get technical and name you all the names and everything, but basically what's happened is there has been some artificial intelligence changes that makes artificial intelligence much, much better at sounding human, both in written as well as, hey, they can actually have voices that are reading that are starting to sound like almost human. I don't believe they're quite there yet, but they're getting closer. What they do is they market these things as like blog articles that write themselves or ads that write themselves or save tons of time. All you have to do is put in the outline and we'll write it for you. Those kinds of claims are being made by these tools. So the question is it a good idea to use them or not? You know, you can easily fall into that trap. What if you could have blog articles that actually write themselves? Is this a good idea? Well, let's turn to the source of a lot of that kind of information. A guy named John Mueller. He's a Google spokesperson that talks a lot about SEO and how to get your articles and content ranked high in Google. And basically what he said is this: content generated using AI is considered by Google to be spam. In other words, you don't want to do it. Why? Because what these tools basically do is they take the same words, the same content, and they say it again in different words. Now, they can get really good at saying them in different words in a way that sounds like the way a normal human would talk. But ultimately, what it comes down to is you're saying the same things, but in different words, which is not what Google is looking for. Think about it from Google's standpoint. If you come into Google and you're looking for various perspectives on something, and all 10 articles on the first page are all basically saying the same thing with different words, does that serve your needs? One of the things that I'll tell you that really helps when you're looking at the search engines is to think about things from their perspective. Google's perspective is that they want people to be loyal to Google. In other words, anytime someone wants to search for something, they turn to Google. And the way they become loyal to using Google as their sole search engine is that every time they search for something on Google, they get exactly what they want as quickly as possible. And so if Google's search engine ends up full of junk, the same thing said over and over again in different words, then what ends up happening is they're not serving their customers' needs. And so their customers then start turning to the competitors. That's bad. That loses them market share. That loses them advertising revenue. That loses them all kinds of things. And Google has got enough things in the privacy realm and everything like that to fight against in the search engine world. The last thing they want to do is fill their database with a bunch of spam. And so, in short, save your money and time. Don't even bother with it. Now, I will just make a side journey for just a moment. These tools are pretty good at a couple of things. They're pretty good at sort of doing a literature review and telling you, hey, articles on this topic all tend to talk about these different subjects. And what I oftentimes will do is I use a couple of these tools to just make sure that when I write a piece of content, I include everything that should be included. And so I actually use the outlining kinds of elements of those where they look at the top 100 results that came back and say, hey, 80% of them talked about this concept. And it's like, oh, I had totally forgotten. I wasn't going to talk about that concept. I should talk about that concept in my article. So that's a great use for these kinds of tools. But the parts where you press a button and it writes 2 paragraphs for you, That's what Google is saying they don't want you to do. That's what they consider to be spam. Now, how good is Google at catching that? They're not very good quite yet. They'll get better quite quickly. But here's the thing. Do you want to be doing something that is basically tricking Google into ranking your articles so that as soon as they catch you, they'll penalize your site forever and you'll never be able to get anything else to rank? Is that the kind of strategy you want to build your business and your future on? Not me. I want to build my future and my business. I'm putting out great stuff that people actually want to read or listen to or watch or whatever. Isn't that a better strategy? So I suggest you don't waste your time, don't waste your energy on buying and your money on buying all these different programs that each one claims to be better than the other, or they give you more articles or more words that can be written or whatever it is. Don't bother wasting your time. Instead, invest it on good writing, whether it's you or somebody you hire. But basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to create content with a unique angle and point of view. That's what you're trying to create, is something that makes it so that you stand out as better than everyone else, as opposed to you just regurgitating everything that everyone else is saying in different words. So, clear answer as far as I'm concerned. AI, probably not a good direction for most of us to go in. That's my recommendation. Love to hear your thoughts. Put them in the comments. This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.